The photographer looked at it and was mad. Think of this rotten name. The police are looking for an opportunity to harm the owner. We can't let him do that. At the same time, the team is still trying to attack. That spews out a bunch of black gas. Shoot it straight at the animal and make it scream like crazy. It threw a powerful punch at the IP. The earth and the rocks are all blown up. He was severely injured for a few hours. Thinking silently, it's hard to fight this animal directly. I also dare not stand in front of the judge to reveal my evil master. The beast kept throwing fists at the clam, like these thunderous explosions. But IP tongue still rises. Tell people not to resist. They all sent him to the government. Everyone take orders immediately. Meanwhile, people are running around the village with their clothes on. The monster came here and ran. Aphrodite with everyone. It's driving the animal towards the government. Suddenly, he looked ahead and discovered that he was close. He seemed to understand the intention and stopped. It's hard to understand why ask the forest. Scholarship. This animal opened its mouth wide and screamed furiously. It's like signaling to the others in the flock. And then he turned and walked away. It makes you stupid. Think about changing direction. Maybe this animal can see through my plan. A man came to ask the owner, "What do we do now?" He said he wasn't chasing me. We will actively attack. Beat it to the government. He then turned to the animal. You will not be able to destroy anything in this city. As he said, he rushed towards the animal and blocked the road. He immediately put out his hand, a way to hit straight into its strikers. The people nearby sowed the power of the sword of the Lord. It's hurting him. Everything seems to be going pretty well. Love will definitely move forward. In the meantime, the enemy is attacking. He's out in a row. Make your love bewildered. You can only stop it later. Move back and get momentum. Then screaming furiously and rushing up, despite these blows. It makes a fool of me. What is this distortion? Aesthetics have been attacked like that. They can also attack SAO. Suddenly, a slap came. It makes you spin all over his jaw. Thrown 100 meters away. That blow, that the leaf has to change back into shape. At first, he was slammed against the wall. The judge saw that this was the opportunity. Come and ask your boss if he is okay. Like a leaf. Your eyes look to make you smell good. Mouth determined the wound of the aphid, see raw, is not heavy. I'm not a rival to him yet. He looked back. I see the animal is going crazy. Then run away with your ass. Photography in a view too. The owner's situation is not good. The commission is also taking action. We must first deal with the leader of the Black Kim. Loved Kier. He pulled out the spindle. I can't believe I had to use it so quickly. He bit his finger to draw his own blood, and then dribbling blood into the sphincter. Then immediately the photographer triggered the transmission of the forbidden arts. Violent inflammation deem. In a moment, a huge fireball appeared in the air. Then the sphere hurried towards the black beast Kim, like a second sun that appears bright. It also makes you look amazing. Turn the person to another place when you see the fireball coming at the animal. But this animal is pretty smart. As the sphere approaches, it jumped up and down to avoid the aesthetic photographer. With such a giant body, It's still pretty flexible. While I love animals, it seemed to have dodged the fireball. Then suddenly, the fireball spun back. Make it rage and scream furiously. The source of the ice is in front of you. The banging out. But this sphere is incredibly powerful. Straight into the ice. Immediately pierced through the ice. It hits the animal directly. The power is extremely powerful. It affects people nearby. But far from the red is one of them. Suddenly, a burst of energy. It's as powerful as a nuclear bomb. It seems to burn everything. Then in the smoke, the animal's body is stretched away. Plunge into the ground with a beam. And made it lie dormant, smoking black smoke. The judge hurried to look at it. This power, Black Kim, is completely unstoppable. It's not likely that IP will come back. Fortunately, I have OT. What is the aesthetic side of the aesthetic? There's only fake power transmission. It can cause so much destruction. Master's father practices the method of the snow system. This is definitely not his magic. The city of Kwang Wei Kai also has only one legend. Love the master is him. Maybe there are others. It's possible to pass this class of prohibition. Then he remembered the old man. But he was locked in the spirit. Even the law can't do it. Then I thought, that's right. Maybe it's the master behind the photographer. If it's really that fake power that saved me. It means that the city has yet another guardian. He is not a resident of Kwang Wei Kai City, but with the close relationship of the regent and Van Nie. After that, there will be an accident. I'm sure that fake power will also lend a helping hand right now. Regency after renunciation, and that great trick is to run away. I thought I didn't exist. The judge certainly did not dare to do anything casually. We have to get there quickly. Help him deal with Black Kim. I love this book, 10. It's like a dowry. Meanwhile, I love the Black Kim with his big body. Are lying on the rubble. It's yawning and growling. Surprised, he said he didn't expect it to be alive. Effed cardboard angry, you animal attacked my city. Kill my people. The judge pretended to ask the master. Your wounds are not disturbing. Thank you for asking if I care. Then he ordained the sword in his hand. Then the tiger goes to the animal. I declare that I will kill you today. This moment, it seems to have entered the magical realm. This sword gathers martial arts leaders throughout his life. I love that you seem to understand this. Dig up and launch out the ice. But this ice, he was slashed down with a sword. Broke it, and then he swung his magic sword ra. A bright yellow light emitted. Straight to the animal. It's a blast of rock and earth. People who are nearby, you also have to use a shield, by the power of the swordsmanship that Yizan emits. The animal immediately screamed for an hour. At the end of his life, he holds the sword. Crashed hard on the head of the animal. A full sword. The bright red blood flowed out. The lover's bright red eyes are fading now. Then quickly turned to black. He's finally back with the coffin team. The red man stood watching in horror. Think of that sword. There seems to be some progress in the field. Missed such a good opportunity. It will be even harder to get rid of them later. He lost his beloved leader in the city. Will be like fish in a pot. I lost 7 on the other side. Black Kim loves are being attacked by fake powers. The photographer looked at it and thought. There are 7 spindles used. Loss of an axial mesosphere transmission plate. It's not everywhere. I don't know if it will be used later. He thought of the angel who drew the sword. He shook his head and told me to leave. I can't bring it out anymore. I can only use a dagger. Even though his cultivation level is not high, but I can still attack them. When they're caught off guard in the middle of a fight. He said he jumped on the roof, then hurried up the dagger. The cardboard side. He ordered everyone to go somewhere else. Don't let those black needles get away. The officers heard the order to obey. Suddenly, when he sees something, he looks back. Then slowly proceed to the body of the animal you're looking for. Suddenly, he saw a golden light. Hold the fire in your hand and watch. The guy in the back is curious. Looking at it is terrifying. I found out that I love the snow. It's also a black Kim who can open the Ganoderma. Meanwhile, the Buddha has captured this spirit. The pink judge thought, normally in 10,000 animals, there is only one child who loves the dark spirit, Kim, less and less. The Ganoderms have never heard of it. It doesn't matter if it's my soul or my soul. It can't be compared to that. So now, there's only one more step, is to reach the long-term horizon. Once merged with that spirit, maybe they will set up. Put your feet on the earth. It's getting worse. And then he went to flatter. Congratulations to the master. Was engraved Kim loving Lin, opened Reishi. Thank you, brother. But in my heart, I think he moved so fast that he could see it. The Buddha said, and I'm not a lover killer. So, we can't have our own like that. The pink judge thought so. Why are you hiding so fast? IP tone continued. You still have to let that man handle it. Surprised the judge. Ask me who that person is. I told him I didn't know that person. Make the jury run out of words. On the side of the photographer, his dagger flew out. He pierced through the lover. Chen Fei Long saw it and reported it was injured. Take the opportunity to attack. Quickly, we've dealt with this beloved Black Kim. He said with a sigh that he had solved all this. The photographer huddled in the corner thinking. Free up another team. Black Kim fake power more and more support. Losing the leader of these animals. It's broken, he. Launch and say it's over. More than 10 hours later, the Black Kim was finally destroyed. I love outside the city after being attacked. They ran away from the city and fled from the photographer landed at the wall. He looked down and was silent. The desolate ruins. The smoke is over the bodies of the dead. Photographer exclaimed, this is just 100,000 level beast. If you go to the next level, SAO, it will come sooner or later. When it came to this, my friends came to call the photographer. You don't know. You said suddenly, I can't see you. The photographer scratched his head and laughed. We don't want America to live a lonely life. I can understand how good it feels to have friends who care. I absolutely will not leave anyone next to me. Stolen again. He was determined to tell them all. I am too weak to go back to training. Everyone nods in agreement, and suddenly, 6 people object. Can you forgive me? Our technique doesn't need training anymore. Suddenly, Snow appeared next to him. I asked you what you said. Make 6 adventure. The whole body trembled. Suddenly, everyone was shouting. Everyone is happy to win. But besides the joy, it's the tragedy of war casualties. The countless scenes in the city are now in ruins. Make the photographer look at you. Suddenly, the memory of a past life comes back. It's also here. It's just a ruined ruin. Made the photographer shed tears. Come back to the present and ask the photographer why. And he said, don't you remember some old things? Go back to the government. The night falls. In the city, Master Eucalyptus praised the photographer. You have a lot of power in this battle. We represent the entire population. Kwong Wei Kai, thank you. The photographer called out for music. You're all one family, don't be such a guest. That way, we'll have a little bit of trouble. I am sorry to tell you that you are still unscrupulous. No matter what, you are a god in this. We all have it in our hearts. In addition to the host families in Kwong Wei Kai City. They all know your work. He stroked his beard thinking, but what should I reward you for? Suddenly photographer, reminder right. Music sub-personality modulation. Here medicine is absolutely not transmitted out. If you fall into the hands of the evil guild, those explosives will be directed towards Kwong Wei Kai City. Affirmation, of course. I'm fully aware of that. Don't worry, I have arranged it properly. The photographer felt good. I sat down in the chair and said, before when we fought with animals, we've got a fake superpower to carry out the forbidden flag of rescue. It's your master, isn't it? It's like an avocado. It seems confusing. It makes you look at that face as well. The photographer said yes, maybe it was him. What's wrong? In my heart, I forgot about this. He glanced at me and said thank you to your master. I also got a good one. He took the Holy Spirit in his hands. Make the photographer ask. The spirit of love. It's confirmed. This is the spirit of the snow leopard. It's not just a great hobby. It also opens up its mind. This precious spirit is very rare. Please help me deliver it. Give back to your master. The photographer happily replied that he didn't need it. Master said, this love for him has no effect. That's amazing. The photographer laughed and said it was good. He didn't know what to give to the musician. Master, there is only one spirit of this snow. I have heard 2 words of worship. Make him jerk shot, someone seriously asked. This wasn't your intention. The photographer said, one day VI Master for Life VI sub is not allowed. I dare to speak on behalf of the old man. Give such a precious gift. I fall into the trap of thinking it's true. It's actually a dowry. Just afraid not to give a little face. If I accept, I will marry my daughter. Even though we've received a lot of gifts from the photographer. Thousands of ghosts love the spirit battle and the chain of blood and love. Look at the spirit and think, now I want to collect more snow. You have to follow Lao. It's easy to get these things back. It's hard to get them back. I can't stand to oppose this marriage anymore. That's it, got a lot. The gift is one more thing. We can go into the world with it. The time to face 100,000 levels of beast tide, I wouldn't be in such a dangerous situation. The photographer looked at the thought. His face has changed. After all these thoughts, Leaf Cardboard said, Love Lin, I received this snow for my son. It depends on it. If he wants it, I won't object. That's what the photographer said happily. As long as you don't object, you're on the death side. I won't let her be. He stood up and said it was too late. I went back and opened the door. IP also laughed slightly in agreement. Then tell yourself, we should also start incorporating the spirit. Even though the black neighborhood loves the spirit, have a little precious dragon blood. But it can't compare to the snow. Love Lin, it's also better suited to our practice. On the pink side right now. He broke the cup of tea in his mouth. Because we don't have such good luck. The two of us grew up together as children. Everything you have, I have a way to become an owner. What is the difference between you and me? My VI is worse than you. Because you are the Snow Queen. One day, I will steal everything that belongs to you. I will kill you. It's like when I poisoned your woman. Since the arrival of photography, the gods of the world are no longer sailing smoothly. Let the snow fall the new attention. Situation like today. Now the gods of the world are under strict surveillance. Gao. A lot of actions can't be performed. You think the gods of the world. I will easily bind my hands. Soon you will taste the bitter fruit. There was a man who rushed in to inform the chief. We just got the news from the snow to become the master of 10 days after the gathering of the Gao families to negotiate the love of dealing with dynastic beasts. The judge was surprised to ask thou Sao understand. He thinks he'll summon the beast defense next time. It's also rational. But the current state of the gods, it's very unique. Who knows the clairvoyant will act behind the scenes. If we don't go, we'll be the ones to talk about it. Stand up and say it. I have to take a trip. Change the scene in the capital at Ku Room Deep 2 Van. She's taking care of the wound of the child. Open the words to stop. We haven't talked for a long time. Then stop the confirmation. Death thought silently. Once upon a time, he was my only good friend. But then suddenly stopped crying. She was crying and said, I hate you. You are the girl of the city. I am just an ordinary girl. You are forever high in the sky. Let me know how I feel. From then on, the child is no longer the owner. There are only 4 walls left in this place. Even in elementary school, keep your distance from everyone. Only after the photographer appeared, I can see the smile on the face of the baby. Again since then, I was born a little curious about photography. Death speaks up. Don't worry, I want to fight with you. I wouldn't like a firecracker. This word made me stop wondering if I could ask again. But she said we still shouldn't discuss these things. I will first wipe the blood off your body. Already said, she gently cares for the wound of stopping children. Touching the scratches on the back stopped children. And then he told me to stop. Then suddenly, a black shadow came. The 2 girls looked at Theo in horror. Turns out, that's what happened. He asked loudly to stop. I wonder how you are. In front of him are 2 girls. With fragile clothing. Exposed flesh on the body. It's a very embarrassing scene. Fish with a bib on him. Embarrassed and hugged my body. Make the photographer laugh hard, haha. He said it might not be the right time. Death vexed uneasily at the photographer. Let's get you in here and get out. She said that, and then she sent out the gas to the photographer. He hurriedly ran away. But the ice couldn't hit him. Stop looking and laugh softly. And the death vexed, cursing fire. This photographer, he always makes a mess. He must receive instruction. Stop saying that the photographer did not intend to do it. No, he barged in like that. Probably because they care about us. Death reminder to stop, children. You didn't marry the photographer. You spoke for him. He will be caught when it is easy. That stops the silly thinking. Marry the photographer. I can really match the SAO photographer. The photographer must be great. There is only a woman like Deep to Van. You can match him. I really am nothing. The Dragon King. It can be compared to the snow. Death is thinking of stopping now. It's cold as ice and not easy to access. She really has a warm heart. In front of the person she likes, she's going to be mean. Give all your heart to the enemy. But I can't be the owner's daughter. He carries a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. I'm not suitable for photography. Here, the photographer is sitting and practicing. I didn't expect to see that. It's enough to get beaten up. I've been through all these situations in my previous life. Live and die with her. My feelings for my son will never change. But stop, children. Previous life, I have almost no relationship with my son. I stopped the baby. It's just compassion in my heart. In this life, God is pushing. I have changed my life with my son. You should deal with your child's feelings for you. How is this? I can't solve that right now. Going back will count. After the attack to the golden two stars, I found something new again. The soul of the sea, to the surrounding four soul, has a powerful gravitational effect. As we enter the battlefield, the faster our cultivation speed increases. But be careful later. Avoid unplanned events like this one. The next day at dusk. From the heir to the photographer. And he's happy to see her. I still feel angry about yesterday. Suddenly, Death spoke up. You can't stay in my hospital anymore. She said, I want you to leave today. Harry looked at her cold face and was heartbroken. Ask why. He rushed to plead his death. I was so worried last night. Not careful, so new. Enter but die, high voice. You know, it's good to move on your own tonight. I've been thinking clearly these days. In fact, you are no different than a Korean. You guys, they see us only as a tool for growth. After marriage, I will be happy. It's ridiculous to sit on the chair. The photographer shouted. Longer, I can't sit in that position. But he interrupted me seriously. Photographer, do not think that you have a great gift. After all, you are also a poor boy. The fall of heaven and earth. You think that? You are qualified to marry the daughter of the owner like me. Don't be naive anymore. Look at the stupid face of the photographer. Death continued. Why do you have a thick face here? The photographer turned away and said he didn't need to say more. Can we just go? Death is in your heart, but you speak up. You didn't take your stuff. But he left saying we had nothing. At this moment, Death stands alone. Look at his shadow. Meanwhile, Stop High woke her up. Sitting up, tying her hair. I was surprised to see him go in alone. I asked where the photographer was. She said he had a problem and went back to his house. You're not well yet. It's best to use some knitting medicine and practice for a while. The salary also agrees. but I think it looks a little strange. And why did you suddenly come home? Stop it. It's between the two of them. I will not be easy either. Let the photographer die. I will quietly wait for the photographer to choose. Even if the photographer chooses to die here. The photographer returned to the family. When I saw that the people were safe, I was sure. Then give the dance to the parents. At the same time, the sword remained to protect the people. Right after that, the photographer then turned his car to the Buddhist Association. Yang Han was happy to see him and asked the photographer, I have some free time today to go to the doctor. I thought you were in that quiet village. Forgot the road. He laughed. I really want to ask for help today. He looked around thinking. The business of the association is not bad. It used to look a bit tattered. Yang Han asked, is it that if nothing happens, I'm not going to find $1 billion? So tell me what's going on. The photographer brought his face to say, medicine in this war. I still need a lot of trouble to prepare. Best is that you can weigh 100,000 pounds today. I was surprised to ask so many questions. 100,000 level beast this time. It only takes a few thousand pounds. What do you need so much for? What I mean by this 1 year. Kwang Wei Kai City will encounter even bigger tidal beasts. I'm not sure, but it's very likely. Yang Xin nodded to understand, and we will arrange. Photographer bow, thank you for understanding. I'll go first. Duong Hun asked the photographer to hurry. Why are you in such a hurry? The photographer said there was no rush. So Yang Han suggested that Kai stay. Have a glass of wine. The photographer was surprised that Yang Han asked why. Maybe my brother is worried about the billions. We'll eat meat or SAO. The photographer laughed. Then have a few drinks. The night falls. The moons glow at the wine table. Duong Han opened the question to the photographer. I want to see the world outside of this city. What does it look like after all? I have lived in this city since childhood. I've been to the farthest, but it's only 10 miles away. It's no different than a bird in a cage that's really tasteless. Stupid photographer who looks to say, outside Kwang Wei Kai City is the sun, Vang Saint, run 1,000 miles. There are also 2 human tribes. Further east is the endless desert. To the west is the wider Z wilderness. In addition, there is the glory of the Holy Spirit to stop the drama. These places are also inhabited by humans. Even the 6th generation has been invaded by the beast. In addition to the Holy Spirit, there are 10 other 6. All 6 belong to one world. World Master. It's the same dimension that we live in. The world has a lot of other worlds. After crossing the world, it's a different world. After listening to Yang Han, you are stupid to enter the us world. The photographer said it must be huge. So big that my whole life, I can't possibly see it either. She raised her glass because the world was running out of glass. Happy drinking with the beauty. Yang Han Thin confided, Yang Xin is an orphan. Has suffered enough provocation since childhood. Step by step, climb to where you are now. What did we rely on to do that? The wrong person is based on strength. The men who fought with him. What to do now? Is there a guy who's not dressed? The photographer also raised his glass. Because of the power of the billion. When he finished drinking, he picked up the cup. But in my mind right now, I'm thinking about death. He continued pouring wine and said, how many people stare at this position? But we're still sitting there. But that's okay. I know the world. No one understands my heart. You've known all your life what it means. The photographer asked, it's not that Duong billionaire still has brother or Sao. Hearing that, Yang Han laughed out loud, haha. My brother has this sentence, I am satisfied. She leaned in and said, just one thing. If you love to destroy Kwang Wei Kai honestly, I hope you end me. Then burn the body of a billion. Don't let that animal eat you. The photographer said no. Just have me here. Kwang Wei Kai City. They will not be destroyed by animals. Yang Han approved the billion-year-old submission. Both continue to raise their glasses for this. They say we want to be the best in this world. Then, no one can do it when it's easy for our best friend. After that, Li lay quietly on the bed. Yang Xin was beside him, quietly watching him. I feel when I was born. I have not yet been born. I am old. If we were 10 years younger, maybe it will be like a small fish. I try to forget myself and pursue you. Little brother photographer, to treat everyone enthusiastically, sincerely, earnestly. He will definitely be a good man. Unfortunately, we are unlucky. But Yang billionaire only knows how to stay here. The beauty fades. The last of these is the dragon god. 9 heaven, but you can get to know your brother. There's nothing I regret saying. She kissed him softly on the cheek. Then he smiled softly and turned away. The photographer's door was also closed. Yang Han just walked and sighed. I'm still sleeping like a dead man. There was a red lipstick mark on his face. To change the scene in the room of the epitaph. He holds the letter in his hand. It's news about love. And he banged his hands and he said, too much news. Then I remembered the scene where I spanked photographer, but unconsciously smile amused. Suddenly, there was a knock outside. Go ahead and say it. Laugh and ask why you came here. IP Han came to speak. I have something to teach my father. These days I found out. There's a lot of people who don't have a job in the hospital. I don't know if I should say it or not. They say the photographers. They're all students of the dead. Han said, but even though SAO is also a hospital of death. Is this appropriate? People often think I am not unaware of your feelings for me. The difference between two teenagers is too big. There is a relationship again, brother. Han Yi continued, I know my father raised me. He taught me that I want to be my master. We are not strong enough to meet your expectations. He knelt on the ground. Then I said, we're at the end of the street. He was brought back to the city by his father. I just want to repay your kindness. I never had any expectations for this title. Hidden Leaf who speaks Han Ni Vi sub understand. You are very talented. The 6th generation will pass the 6th generation, but there's a lot of things we can't decide. I hope you can give up the thought. Han replied, I understand. Lately, the VI has suddenly increased. Goddess grace is far beyond you. Being able to be the owner is a matter of course. Suddenly, he changed his voice. You always tell me. If you want to be an owner, you have to practice hard. So we've been working really hard. I dare not be a little lazy. Try to meet your requirements. But now you are telling me. You can't all decide. Do you think about how I feel?